If a total stranger was suffering a heart attack, how long would it take you to help? According to psychology, it depends less on you as a person and more on how many people are around you at the time. This is because of what's called the bystander effect. It goes all the way back to 1964. 28-year-old Kitty Genovese was assaulted and killed in New York City while walking home from work. The murder was allegedly seen by 38 witnesses who did not intervene or even call the police until after the attacker had fled. The public uproar that followed caused psychologists to question why the witnesses didn't intervene. They concluded that the more people there are in an emergency situation, the less people are likely to help.
There were perhaps 38 people who could have responded, but each were looking to see what these other people were doing.
One explanation for this is the diffusion of responsibility. This means people in the crowd believe someone else will help, or assume someone more qualified, like a doctor or police officer, will step in. Another explanation is group cohesiveness. Once a bystander sees a person in distress, they might look at the other people nearby to interpret what's going on. For example, if no one else is reacting, the bystander might follow the crowd and not step in. Now, more than 50 years after it was first studied, we're experiencing a whole new phenomenon. Instead of intervening in violence, filming and live streaming crime is now the norm. This comes from the idea that recording an event is a replacement for taking action, and sharing the video on social media makes us feel like we are intervening in some way.
Get a passport, bro. Sit down, bro. Educate yourself.
Another explanation is that a phone puts a barrier between the person and the violent situation, removing them from danger. In Australia, there is no duty to rescue another person except in certain situations. For example, if you hit a pedestrian or if you have a duty of care as a teacher, employer or parent. But when it comes to complete strangers, there are very few obligations. That's unless you live in the Northern Territory, where the maximum penalty for callously failing to act is 7 years imprisonment. And although most states have no legal obligation to act, that doesn't take away our moral responsibility in the community. Sometimes bystanders have bucked the trend and become the heroes we all need. John Bamford, otherwise known as the Chairman, voluntarily intervened in Sydney's stabbing incident in August.
What am I going to do? Go home and say I was there and I could have done something and backed away from it? I mean, there was no option. He was there. I had a chance to get him, so I was going to do something about it.